Is it a big story?
What, the petrol stations?
No,
we're not doing it.
Green Shield stamps.
Oh, we've got Green Shield stamps.
Yeah, that's linked to the petrol station.
So is it what you say?
Of course.
Was that them from?
Of course.
Right.
So,
Oh, well, I think we need to just we need to make sure that you're not going to incriminate yourself.
I don't care.
He doesn't care.
Is the garage still operating?
No.
Okay. Fill your boots.
Well,
Lay it all out the table.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll change it. We'll change it to something else, which I haven't spoken to you about, because that way it's fresh.
Okay.
All right, we'll come back to the petrol station story in next time.
Matt doesn't know.
Matt doesn't know, and it'd be
no, the petrol station, because he wasn't here, was he?
Oh, and he didn't. Oh, yeah, because it was a fish and chip night, wasn't it?
No, so he doesn't know anything about.
So I'm gonna give you a little bit about my trip to India. Shall I do that?
Go for that.
Would you like that?
So here it is. It's the podcast nobody asked for. Three guys in a kitchen, drinking coffee and having a chat.
Can you break it down into headings?
Okay.
So first, second, and third thing, what are you going to cover in this little story? What are you covering?
Well, no, it'll just be as it comes out.
Okay.
I mean, I can't. I was just trying to know if you want me to.
Anticipate.
It's not a presentation for sake. It's not. It's not PowerPoint.
Yeah, but I don't want to hear about.
I haven't already sorted.
Okay, go on, carry on then.
You don't want to hear about. Sorry, tell me now before I
Oh,
start.
we're not talking about food. Not when you're in there doing an amazing chat or stuff like that.
No, of course not. No.
Is it going to be a bit risque?
Could be.
Okay, let's crack on then.
Could be. So I'm going back to the first time I went back to India after I'd arrived here at the age of 5, and I went back in 1974. So this is a time when I'd just met Anne, and we'd spent the year together at Henley College, and she got into Keele University. She got her A-levels. I didn't get what I needed. I don't know where I was going to go with it anyway. I don't know if I was going to go to university or whatever.
Yeah.
My life changed when I met her. Really did. I mean, everything else just fell by the wayside.
What developed then? What came about when you met Anne then?
Well,
you like it?
Well, I met a person that I fell in love with. What's wrong?
No. I'm just wondering what changed? What experiences? What
changed?
Because go on. Were you? Did you have many girlfriends before Anne?
Yes.
Okay. And were they fully satisfied relationships? Because the way you put it across, she knocked you off your feet, and it was like, that's wonderful. When you meet somebody like that, it's absolutely the best thing I've never.
So, it wasn't anything to do with any physical stuff. It was just
we tap the whole thing. All of that.
The whole thing.
It encapsulates the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what happens is, from experience, is that you got this world that you thought was wonderful, and then this other person comes into that world, and that world doesn't exist anymore.
No, exactly.
So you were in that
absolutely, yeah, completely. I mean, so my life changed in that regard. Although Anne kind of had an idea of what she wanted to do. She wanted to go off and go to university and do a degree, and I think she planned to go and start teaching afterwards. And she was great, she was far more intelligent than me anyway. But my dad wanted me to become an accountant or some professional and stuff like that. And I don't think I was cut out for it, to be honest, academically and stuff like that. So we met, and so I decided then that my life was going to be with her, and so when she went off to university, my intention was to go off and live there with her, go and find a job and stuff like that.
Wow,
that was how dramatic it was.
And you were 19, 20?
I was 19.
19.
Yeah, when we met, I was 19, and so my dad said to me, because I said I'm leaving home. I said I'm leaving home. I didn't tell him where, why, and who I was going to go with. I just simply said I'm leaving home. There was a couple of friends of mine who'd gone up to Stoke-on-Trent to work with Michelin Tires Company, and I kind of said that I'm going to go and live with them, right? Because they wouldn't have accepted the other thing. Yeah. So he said, "Okay, all right, go off. You can leave home. That's fine. But before you leave, I want you to go to India." So I think he had an inkling that I had a relationship, right? And I think that his whole idea of sending me to India was so that I could find a girl and get married. Actually, there's a song there, isn't there? Cat Stevens. Find a girl, settle down, get married.
Yeah. Cat Stevens?
Yeah, it is a Cat Stevens song. So I'm sure that's what he thought, that that he wanted me.
So have you always had a wandering eye?
Is this related to going to find a girl?
Well, no. Your dad. You said your dad had an inkling.
Yeah.
So you must have given your dad some ammunition to have those thoughts, because yes, you're 19, so those things do happen.
Yes, they do. And there were a couple of things that happened. Actually, this is really strange. There was a girl that I was going out with before I met Anne, and it wouldn't be anything that I would tell my parents about at all, obviously. But something happened, and she turned up at my house, right, which was the most horrific thing, right? And she arrived and saw my mum. I don't know, my dad, or I don't know, I can't remember the detail. But she'd come with somebody, and she made out that she was pregnant, right? And it just, I can't remember the consequences of all that, but it turned out that it wasn't the case at all. But she was obviously quite
Unstable?
Possibly, but I wouldn't.
Well, it's a bit strange to come and knock on somebody's
Yeah.
door.
Well, maybe she felt that I was drifting away from her and wanted to kind of make.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, what I mean?
Woman scorned kind of thing.
Possibly, yeah. I was too young to kind of understand all the reasons why that was going to get.
Well, you were in a little pond.
What? What's that mean?
Well, you were a fine specimen of a man.
And well, that's still the case, Stu. I can't.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Sorry, it all seems to be hanging off here.
So going back to
let's listen to this conversation.
Yeah.
Where's it going?
Yeah, it'll be on the phone somewhere. But you then asked about why my dad would know, or why he had an inkling. So that was the kind of inkling. That kind of.
Well, he knew what you did.
Yeah.
You'd sowed your seeds previously.
So he said, go to India, and
it's like,
It's right, though, isn't it? We're all adults.
no, we all with birds and the bees. We don't need to go and
Well, I don't think we need a podcast about the birds and bees, because I mean, our podcast, but it's been done. That poach sales already. Yeah.
But obviously, in your how can I put it? What's your description of your group? He said it the other week. Your community.
Yeah, that's a very difficult word.
Your community. Well, I can't remember how you your terminology, but yeah, in your community, what you're doing is a big no-no.
Oh, big no-no.
Yeah,
Big no-no. So he wasn't very happy with all of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, he said, go off to India and then you can leave out. So I thought, but I knew what he wanted me to do. I think he wanted me to find a girl and get married and settle down, which is what they're normal.
Yeah, but is it normal for you to go on your own, or would your parents go with you back to India?
Well, because there's family there. There's family there.
Oh, okay.
And it all usually works through various kind of connections and relationships and, the in-betweens and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's what his intention was.
And is it the class society, caste society, is that prevalent?
Yeah. So I think that was his intention. So I thought, well, fine, okay. I mean, I haven't got a job at the moment. Yes, I do want to move up to Stoke-on-Trent near Kiel and stuff like that. I'll go to India. I thought,
Is he paying for it?
yeah, well, maybe I can find myself as well.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
So I thought, okay, I'll
Forget the stack party kind of things.
I'm not sure that's not.
When you say I'm going to find myself, what are you having?
Well, this was the 70s, you know.
Should we elaborate?
Well, existentialism was very important in
things like to what?
Existentialism meaning that, you know, it's all about the self and how you...
But what were you hoping to find then, other than
who I am.
okay?
What I stood for.
The Beatles did that, didn't they?
They did, yeah. I was kind of following the footsteps.
So you were John Lennon's sidekick, looking to find Yoko Ono.
Possibly. I mean, whatever floats your boat.
No. In fact, you're going to a place of time that I could not connect with because I was still floating in the nether regions. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand when somebody says go and find myself.
Yeah, it was the kind of thing that people did. I mean, they do it now anyway. It's like spending time doing things that help you try and understand who you are.
So we're talking the 60s, not 70s here.
This is 1974.
74.
Yeah.
That's the year the Wombles came out.
Possibly. It wasn't the thing uppermost in my mind at the time.
I watched it last night. Right, so you would know the Wombles.
Oh, yeah, the Wombles, huh?
Wombles at Wimbledon. Yeah.
Sorry, we digressed.
No, that's fine. That's fine because that's
Just to get some connection with 1974.
So I go and think, well, okay, I'll do a bit of traveling, and the worst case is that, I come back and we'll be fine. But so I wait.
Well, that would be best case, wouldn't it?
That'd be the best case, yeah. So I wait, and I had a great time to some degree. I did a lot of traveling. I spent 36 days on a train traveling all the way around India.
On the roof?
No. I know.
Time.
I know that's it.
Well, no, because I've seen these Indian trains. They ram you on. They don't care about health and safety. They don't care about very much.
No, but this was a proper organised trip, right? By train. So, but in India, they're what they call religious pilgrimages. They call them. I forget what didn't come to mind. They're religious pilgrimages. So it's a proper organised trip. You have a one coach of a train that's dedicated to this trip.
Okay.
Right. So there's
all the same religion and faith.
Yeah, Hindus. There are 50 people on this train, on this coach, and you live and sleep and eat on that train.
Men and women.
Okay. But they're all beyond their 50s and 60s.
Oh, I see.
So I was probably the youngest person on this.
So you was really a person of interest.
That's how different connotations these days, but explain.
Well, because they're not associating that pilgrimage with somebody of your generation.
No.
So we want to understand why you...
Yeah, so my purpose most of all their purpose for going on the trip was to go on a pilgrim, which basically means that they go around India to all the religious kind of hotspots, places that have different connotations for different parts of the mythology and all this kind of stuff. So that's what their objective was. My objective was to find a way in which to get around India, right? Albeit with a group of people that were much older than me. At least I could go off and do stuff that I want and get around, It costs 50 quid.
For the whole 35 days.
1,000 rupees in those days was the equivalent of 50 quid. Well, I'm trying to work out what 50 quid would have been in
That's a lot of money.
1974.
That's a lot of money, 1974.
Yeah, but for
35 days. I mean, I'm saying, 500 quid now?
yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of,
You're getting a lot of holiday for the trip.
Is that food, lodging?
Yeah, everything. So, when you say lodgings, you sleep on the train.
Oh, you get on and off the train.
Yeah, so the carriage is dedicated to you, to the group. You go, you get on, you go off, and you get to your first destination.
Yeah. Remember, you just keep at the back of your mind, cruises.
Okay.
Because you were very vocal about cruises, and you're on
he was concerned about, you know,
7,000 you're pissing on a massive
people are-
ship. You know, there's 50 in a little carriage.
how do you get 50 people in a carriage?
Bunks.
Just bunks. Yeah.
So when you know trains in those days, you used to have a bench seats, if you like, right, which was two on each seat facing each other.
Yeah.
Right. Then you have a what do you call it? A not corridor. What would you call it?
An aisle.
An aisle. And then on the other side, you have another two seats facing each other.
Yeah.
So that's 6 altogether.
Yes.
Right. So you have 6 people in that section.
Yes.
Times 10 or 8 or something like that.
To make 50.
To make up 50 people, right? So when you're traveling, you're sitting. When you at night time, what happens is your train gets shunted off. When you arrive at your destination, your train gets shunted off into a siding, right? And you stay there for a day, 2 days, or whatever it might be for that part of the trip.
Yeah.
Okay. During that time, you're sleeping on the carriage, right? So what you so those that I just described, there's 6 people. So you have one person sleeping on the double bench, the 2-seater bench,
Right.
and then above that you've got the luggage rack,
Yeah.
right, which is like flat,
Yeah.
and 2 people sleep on those,
Right.
right, and then across the aisle,
Yeah.
they put a board across the 2 seats,
Right.
for one person to sleep, and the rack above that is for the second person to sleep.
Cozy. It's quite.
All right,
It's cozy.
okay. Don't judge yet, because this is a method. It's a method for getting around. So
That's the price I'd be willing to pay, to be honest.
on the train, it's not a price you'd be willing to pay.
I don't think I could do that even if it was free. You know,
Okay, well, I think people have different, not standards as such, but you have to
Embrace it, don't you?
Well, look, let's try something. That's the
thing is, it's getting me around in a way that I would not have got around in any other way. So for me, it was perfectly fine. And so you have that. You have a group of about, and I've got pictures of them if you ever want to see them. There's a group of about 6 lads, and they are pretty much, well, there's a range, but they are the team that provide everything for you. So they cook on the platform, right, in big pots. It's all vegetarian stuff. It's all fresh, right, completely, and they feed you morning, noon, and night.
okay.
Right? And then they do all the cleaning up and all the rest of it.
For 50 quid.
Amazing.
50, you get 50. And so they do that, right? And so you have the loos as well. You have loos on each, what's it?
And they lose or just a hole in the ground.
They're a hole in the ground.
Yeah. They try and spirits it up.
Stuck a bit.
But they also double up as a bathing area.
What?
So
What? The hole in the ground?
it's not that, no, it's on the train. It's the train. It's the loos on the train.
Yeah, but the lose on the train's a hole in the ground.
The hole in the
floor.
floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you shower standing.
Well, you do put a board over the loo.
Yeah.
And then you have water to shower. It's not a shower. Let's not build it up.
I'm not building anything up. You said it's a toilet. It's a toilet. So hold on round.
People would get water.
It's primitive.
Take a bucket of water.
Yeah.
Into the
Yeah.
into the
With a ladle.
to the lady. Exactly.
I've seen it.
Exactly. And they wash.
Michael Palin showed us.
And the wash. So I mean, it's basic, but it's all doable.
I've seen them doing the Ganges.
So for me, one of the things that I used to
You've
do,
not seen it?
No.
one of the things I used to do is that so that I could have a wash and a shower and a bath. With that, eh?
What no, man? Ability go.
Oh, not bathe, but I bathe.
You bathe yourself.
You bathe yourself.
Yeah.
So rather than wait for crowds to get up in the morning and
Getting close.
yeah, I would, if we're traveling, which often we were at the night time, if we were traveling on the train, I'd wait until it arrived at a station, right? And then I would get my bucket and I would go out to the engine,
Yeah.
right? And the driver would give me hot water in my bucket.
Yeah.
because otherwise you don't get hot water.
No.
Right? So these guys, when they bathed in the morning, they don't get it's cold water. I get my hot water from the engine, come back, have my bath, or bathe myself, and then I go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And let the others rock and roll. Yeah, whenever they get up.
And obviously, because it's a mixed train, you have to keep yourself covered up. There's no doors. You haven't got doors, is there?
Yeah, doors.
Always was doors.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the method of getting around, and it was brilliant. I mean, I just managed to get around for 30. I mean, there's a lot more to this, but I'll get into the kind of nitty gritty stuff in a minute. So nitty gritty stuff is that we, during these journeys, I did a lot of reading. I mean, all the stations had bookstores, English books. I could buy books. And in those days, in the early 70s, it was all about Herman Hesse, George Orwell,
Beatles.
Jean Paul Sartre. These are all kind of, books that were very classic in those days, all to do with the kind of self and things like that. Yeah. So I kind of really got into it. Do you know what I mean? Right. And one of the things that I got into was indulging in stimulants, something that, you probably wouldn't approve of, but it was
ganja.
It was ganja. It was hash. And it was the great thing about it was that it wasn't, in India, it's all part of the kind of, if you like, the spiritual side of it, if you want it to be. Yeah. Not everybody gets involved in it, but you can. So when the hash that they provided, that was sold to you, was not in the smoking form always necessarily, but it's in they'd actually grind it down, the hash itself, mix it with kind of stuff, herbal stuff, and they'd bring it together into like a paste. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Is it like your tomato paste?
Yes, like your tomato paste, but not from China. And so what it meant was that it became a kind of like a tablet almost. Yeah. And
LSD.
You can just drop it.
Yeah.
Right.
Drop.
So of course that was very easy to take around or to buy, because you could buy them. They sold them behind the temples.
Okay.
And you wouldn't get done if the priest pushed you.
No.
So this is okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Well, they sell them at the back of temples, right?
Yeah.
And so that obviously kept me.
That affected you, did it?
Affected me. I mean, it was great. I mean, it was like,
is everybody on the carriage that way in Cornwall?
No, of course not. No, of course not.
Because I would think it probably comes a den of.
No, it's not like that. No, it's very spiritual. But that's what I'm saying. When you went to India and you went on this pilgrimage, look, it was 70s.
Yeah, I know.
And
3 off. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was okay. I mean, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it.
What with this? What was your tune? Dropping one.
Dropping one, yeah.
So I'm dropping one.
What's wrong with that? Is that not the term?
No. Well, I'm not. Dropping one means you go into that little hole in his rat.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, well, I guess I get the context of which you're saying it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So we found out the last few weeks you're a carjacker. Oh no, you can't go into that because that's a separate.
No, but I want to just.
all a separate conversation.
I'm not going to go into it now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the last few weeks, just building up the character.
Yeah, the character weakness of you.
Yeah.
Carjacker, a thief, a repeat thief,
Embezzler.
Embezzlers and that. Yeah.
and a drug trafficker.
Where's the drug trafficker?
Well, did you not share them round then when you bought some? Did you not in your carriage? No. Why?
Why would I?
Well, because
They're all old people. They wouldn't want to know.
oh, they don't do it.
No.
Oh, I thought they were all on it.
Nah. Oh, sorry, I'll take it back.
My mind's racing ahead of me, thinking they're all
Everyone's down the ground.
three look lying there completely naked. No inhibitions. Look at this.
Is that what's going on your head? Is it?
Look at this 19-year-old statue.
Where's that come from?
Because he said he was the youngest.
He was the youngest. He's 19, and I wasn't 15.
What's the youngest? Yeah, what's the youngest?
Yeah.
The good thing is the guy whose family ran the business for the tours was the guy on our tour, and he was 19 too.
Oh,
Which is quite a great responsibility for him. I mean, he had real.
and he was Hindu as well.
Yeah. So he was something. I mean, it was somebody that I could, go around with because he was my age. Yeah. So that was quite good. I also took my uncle with me on this trip all around India.
Oh, you didn't say that.
No. Well, there's a sad aspect to
Did you chaperone?
No, he wasn't. Quite the opposite. I was a chaperone.
Oh.
So when I decided to take him on this trip with me, he had real mental health difficulties. I mean, really severe mental health difficulties. And so in India in those days, even probably now, but in those days, mental health was not something that was known or accepted or appreciated or supported and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so people's attitudes towards somebody with that kind of condition was to mostly suggest that they were doing it on purpose, that it was, they're lazy, they're all this kind of stuff, not really understanding that, it's things that they can't really help. And it's an illness, right? So whether I recognise that in those...
I was going to say, was that part of...
No,
I
I didn't recognise it. All I knew was that he was my uncle. Mm-hmm. And I may have talked about him before when I talk about when I arrived here at the age of 5 was the first time I met my dad.
Yes.
And so, but the guy in India who was my dad, I assumed, was my uncle.
Yeah.
Right? And he brought me up for the first 5 years. So I had a real connection with him.
Yeah.
And so when I went back at the age of 19 and he was in that state, I said, come with me, and it was a responsibility. I mean, we'd be going off on a walking trip or whatever, and he would, unless you kept an eye on me, somebody stand still and not do anything. No. And you'd be walking on and think, where the hell is he?
Yeah.
So, and there was always the problem of him going off.
Yeah.
And so I had a responsibility for him, but I felt that I wanted to do that because of what he meant to me, and provide something for him that was different from what everybody else was, which was to kind of be very negative towards him and all the rest of it. So I took him with me. So the trip was really great. I mean, I went all the way around India, places that, you probably wouldn't go to easily. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. But I kind of got stuck there for a while because, in India, that is, because my dad wanted me to bring my granddad back with me.
Right.
So my granddad was in his 70s.
Yeah.
And I mean, that kind of pissed me off because in those days, there was no email, phones, everything I had to do to get him ready to come over, passports, visas, whatever it was. He'd never left the country before.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it took ages to get all that done, and it meant that I ended up staying there much longer than I wanted to. Yeah. And so I got quite bored a lot, really. So that helped, the dropping, to say, helped.
Yes.
And I watched lots and lots of movies.
Okay.
So I went to the cinema 2 or 3 times a day.
Right.
Just sat and watched Bollywood movies.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another story.
Right.
So I did that. Anyway, so in the end, the day came and we decided to come back. Mm-hmm. I got a plane and all the rest of it. Got my granddad, and bearing in mind he'd never been out of the country before.
Yeah.
Very rarely went out of the town that he was, brought up in or whatever. And we, it was an experience.
Yeah.
Bringing him over.
Yeah.
So he went to. So we flew and we had a stopover in Cairo.
Okay.
Right. and overnight stay, which was great, you know. And
He'd never been out of India.
never been out of India, and one of the things he'd never done was to go on an escalator.
Yeah.
Never been on an escalator.
Well, a plane. Imagine going on a plane for the first time.
Yeah.
At that age.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, it was great to kind of see and watch and be with him in that kind of situation. And so when he's first time he encountered the escalator, he'd put one foot on,
Like a child does.
and left the other one behind.
Yeah.
Mate went in the
Brilliant.
sky.
Yeah.
So I mean, staying in a hotel, you know, in Cairo was just incredible. He had no idea of all of this, you know. I kind of lost him at one point in the evening of that night, and I thought, where the hell is it, you know? And I kind of went to other people's rooms, and he was in a room full of about 3 or 4 other geezers, right, drinking away with his whiskey and stuff. They had a great time, though.
He wasn't in when I think he was.
Yeah. So one of the things that so you sit and have a meal with him for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, outside of your normal kind of environment. And it's knives and forks. He's never used the knives and forks in his life. I mean, why would you? Right?
Oh.
You know, because you don't eat with hands. You eat with hands.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Right? So what do you think would be the meal that's put in front of him?
Fish and chips.
Spaghetti.
Okay.
With a spoon and a fork.
Yeah, but he's never used those before.
You're going straight at the deep end there, aren't you? In terms of fork usage.
It was difficult. So anyway, so he enjoyed that. It was good, you know, good to bring him back. The following day we had a tour around the pyramids.
Nice.
So that was kind of really exciting again for him. It was amazing. For me, yeah. So anyway, we get to the airport, and we arrive at Heathrow, and we get our baggage, and we get through to security, and these huge taller than you, Stu, 6 foot tall geezer.
I'm
Security man comes to us.
Size has to come into every
No,
single...
6'4". I'm saying no. I'm 6'2", so there must be 6'4", 6'5". These guys.
Yeah, tall guy. And he comes over to me, my granddad, and he says, "So who's this?" I said, "Well, it's my granddad." I brought him over. He says, "Has he been here before?" I said, "No, he's not been here before. This is his first time." He says, "Great. You do realise that you've just walked through the nothing to declare door?" I said, "Yeah, I guess." I said, "But I don't know what I need to declare. What do I need to declare?" And he says, "Well, you know, things that, you know, like tobacco or stuff or anything that you know." So my granddad says, I said, "So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think he's got some. He's got nothing." Anyway, so he says, "Okay, well that's fine. Enjoy your trip and enjoy your stay," and he's let us through, right? So I didn't know that my granddad, in his satchel, he's been carrying chewing tobacco, right, and rolling tobacco, right? Because they're contraband. You're not allowed to really bring those in either. And so I didn't know he put that stuff in there. Right. But what they didn't really,
No.
but in our suitcase, my suitcase, before I left Mumbai, I'd sent this guy off to go and get me, you know, the paste. We call it. It's called bang.
Oh, right.
Bang.
And you went when you did that with your hands then?
Yeah. So I said to him, you know, go and get me some because I want to take some back with me, right? So he did, and what he did was, that's right. So what he did was that he went off, and he didn't come back. He didn't come back until we were about to get in the taxi to get to the airport. And so we arrived with this box. It's like sweetmeats, size of a sweetmeat box. and he gave it to me just as I was getting in the taxi, so I couldn't put it in the suitcase. I had to put it in my granddad's bag.
Oh, for God's sake.
Right? Because that's the only thing that was available to me, mate.
Yeah.
And so when we arrived at the airport, this thing was in his bag.
Bloody hell.
He's a drug dealer.
Drug trafficker.
Yeah, I said so. This stuff. Huh?
I said that. You like drug trafficking?
Yeah, of course. So he not only did he buy me a whole box full of, it was like he put sweetmeats on top, and he put the sweetmeats must have tasted amazing after. It's just infused with it, right? No, but then there was also other stuff in there which I won't go into, and so what? So I think no, there weren't Halloween. It was proper ham.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah. So I brought it in, but I kind of.
Can you make sure you don't make me any tea next time?
I can.
I'm gonna leave this house. I always go a little bit flaky.
I think about that, and I think about a couple of things. I think that had they found that, it would have been a real
9 o'clock news.
difficult.
I don't think if they'd have found that amount, we'd be sat here right now having this
Honestly, I'd be released by now.
Yeah, 50 years is a long time.
You'd probably have even worse stories to tell.
But I think about it. I think what was it? Why didn't I realize that this wasn't the right thing to do? Right?
because your moral compass is screwed up. That's what I know.
I didn't. You're 19. No, you popped a few. You're a little bit away.
No, well, I think that because of the time I spent there, the length of time that I didn't really want to be there, I think I was indulging in it more so than I probably would have done. And I think my whole kind of frame of mind was not thinking straight most of the time, perhaps. I don't know how to describe that. Yeah. So it didn't occur to me that this was a big thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd like to carry this on, but I do need to depart.
But you can make your own comments before you.
I'm going to make one comment.
Go on, man.
Which comes on to what you didn't want to discuss earlier, but I think it leads on to it, Andy.
Yeah.
So when you come back to England, is this when you get the job in the garage?
No, that's before I go.
That would. So he's already got questionable.
Yeah.
His moral compass is off.
It's not quite right.
So I thought when he come back, that's when he started to become a criminal.
No. I think the criminal activity is
before I went.
Yeah, he's already got a bit of experience. That's probably why he was so confident in being able to bring it back in. And
I think at this point I need to depart and have some real deep thoughts about.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
The company I'm keeping.
Yeah, it's questionable.
Well, he comes across meek and mild, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But now he's just telling us he's been popping stuff for years, hiding it into like tomato paste, but we now know what it really is.
Yeah.
Sweetmeats. And, it's... I didn't expect to be going down this path with you.
Did you not?
With you.
No. Seriously. And does that,
few weeks.
How do you feel about that now?
Well,
does it change your...
Well, they have these never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. You've just been looking at the cover, haven't you?
Because the cover to me was you.
Yeah.
And now it's just a facade.
We've gone down the rabbit hole now.
It has, isn't it?
You're looking, you think, we need to delve deeper into what caused you to manifest into all these bad traits of society.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's necessary to delve into it.
Oh, I think you do.
I mean,
We are what we are. And I mean,
brazen is one way to discuss.
Excuse me. I never had that in my early years. I'm sure Andrew never had that in his early years.
I've never stolen anything.
The only thing I've ever stolen is a sweet from Woolworths.
And see, I hadn't even gone that far.
Oh, I've done that.
Because Woolworths used to have pick and mix. And I used to have like the coffee caramels or the caramel chocolate caramels, the half moon shape, they were beautiful.
Yeah.
And I took one down, walked out the shop, but I was only little.
Yeah.
And my mum said, "What are you eating?" And I said, "Sweet from the..." That's the only thing I've ever took.
Well, that's what he says.
But now I'm looking at you thinking,
Yeah.
Well, I hope it doesn't change your opinion of me too.
Oh, I should go away and think about
it.
and assess the situation.
I think maybe I should find new company.
Well, I'm just wondering how long you can be connected to a crime. Are you ever?
It's the statute of limitations thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
We do operate like that in this country, do we?
Well, to a degree, I think we do.
No, we don't.
Do we not?
No. If you've got away with a crime and it's been found that it was a crime, then you can be found
accountable for it.
Yeah, you're never excused from it.
Yeah.
I'll take my chances.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you just need to cut this lot out then.
Well,
No, keep it in.
so
Keep it in.
because I've been to certain authorities. So.
Well, you asked me to open up, and I'm opening up to you.
I didn't expect that.
You didn't expect that.
No.
What
I thought
aspect of it was-
you were going down another route.
Which was
Well, we can't cover it on the podcast.
okay. Okay. What was the aspect of this that kind of really?
Concern me.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you popped something in several times.
Several times.
No, several times was what you told in the story.
Yes.
And now you elaborated to say, well, I think that the whole experience has obviously affected me a lot more than it did because my thought process was.
Yeah, because he wasn't just once or twice. I mean, he was constant.
You're right. While I was there and on the way back. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'd like to carry on because I think it's a bit like cold turkey. When he comes back, you'd think he'd have to go and source it out and find it, wouldn't you? So where did you fulfill the habit?
Scratching his.
Where did you fulfill the habit?
Well, he's got enough to last a while.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were still... I mean, you're dealing that in Hillfields?
Where's the dealing come into?
Well, because you have that big box. You can't consume that all yourself, surely.
Yeah, eventually.
Oh, my God. I'm surprised you've lasted this long. Because really, that's the era of the Rolling Stones and heavy drugs and stuff like that.
It's a sliding scale, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, you can find yourself as
The beginning of a spiral.
It's been a very... another interesting episode.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll regret this.
Oh, no.
No.
No, we're going to go deep. We're going to go very deep.
Why has this become a therapy session for me?
Oh, if one opens up, then one's got to understand where it's coming from.
Well, we're here to.
Partly because I'm maybe at an age where I don't give a...
And that's encouraging. It's encouraging that people can realise.
I'm happy to talk about it, but it was like you said, it's like you didn't expect this from me.
No, because you're a pillar of the community. Well, in fact, you're charlatan. You're a charlatan.
Well, I mean, it's a bit like the craze, isn't it? I mean, they had this whole sort of celebrity. They were okay, but obviously underneath there was a lot of stuff going on, and that's exactly sort of similar sort of.
You're clearly living double life.
But people do that when you're younger. You do all sorts of things that you probably wouldn't.
I never find that.
I mean, to an extent, mate. But I mean, Pablo Escobar comes to mind for the.
And fancy using your granddad as a mule. Of all things, not incriminating me, I'll incriminate my granddad. First time out of his cut village, and he got 2 ton of hashish on it. And he's sitting there, You need to go and have a deep think about yourself now, being conducting your life. Because at your age, you should know better. And on that note, I think we need to clear. Oh, you can carry on, but
I think we'll give it a rest and pick up another.
Yeah.